Hello everyone, I am Dhruvi Bhandari with my partner Suryanshi Yaknik, and we welcome you to the third season of Heroes of Ahmedabad. This series of interviews by Divyapath School celebrates and cherishes the discussion between personalities and students who have become a guiding force for people who lead, create, innovate and uplift Ahmedabad.
It's a great saying that behind every thriving institution there is a leader who dares to dream different. And today we have one such visionary with us, Mr. Manan Choksi, the CEO of Udgamverse. A former Udgam student, he returned years later not just as an alumni but as a leader determined to elevate the modern education. He is a chartered accountant by qualification, a strategic thinker by profession, and educational innovator by passion. Under his leadership, thousands of students and teachers have benefited from innovative systems, tech-driven learning, and a renewed version of what a school can be.
So, let's welcome Mr. Manan Choksi to Heroes of Ahmedabad Season 3.
Thank you.
Sir, you are a CA by degree. So what motivated you to be an educationist and a technopreneur?
So interesting story. I became a CA because I had this agreement with my father that I have to study, then he will not influence my career. So the whole reason of me becoming a CA was my father's insistence that I should do hard work and get some recognizable degree so that people give me some respect. Otherwise, if I had been just a 12th pass out, nobody would, give you any job or any respect or any meaningful employment. So then I started my CA. I did a lot of work as a chartered accountant, and I found it not so very interesting. Another important aspect what I saw was that in certain area there are too much intelligent people, and in certain area there are not so very intelligent people. So for example, you see a lot of industries today in which we have software engineering, for example, so many software engineers. But if you go out and you look at the industries for which the software is designed, they don't even have basic computer ability, to operate the computer. So for which these software engineers, for those they prepare, they don't know how to use it. And that's where I saw that if we really want to be successful, if we compete with the best minds in the country, you may have a very good, I would say, challenge, mentally challenging. But if you want to make some meaningful difference, you have to get out of that competition and look at where your skills are used the most. So I thought that using my CA skills in education will be a diversity in the decision making for all management institutions and management of institutions, and that will give me satisfaction of doing something meaningful.
What inspired you to create Udgamverse, and what's the story behind its name?
So this history is in front of us. It's not so old. The whole story began when I managed Udgam school, and it was better than other schools. So while we had a lot of admission applications, there were other schools which were going vacant, and we thought that when we take out the best practices from Udgam and implement in other schools, we will have the similar success. Because we wanted to prove, as soon as a person becomes successful, they want to really understand what makes them successful. So we were successful and we wanted to identify the elements which made us successful. So if scientifically thinking, if we repeat those elements, then we will be successful at every place that we operate. Okay, so if you throw a pencil here, it falls down, and you throw a pencil anywhere on earth, it will fall down, then you will see that yes, gravity exists everywhere. So likewise, if we decide that if this is the method how we teach children and we get good academic results, parent satisfaction, children are also happy, and more so we are profitable, or I would say viable, then it is something we need to implement everywhere, because another aspect is something which is God gifted. So our God gift was the location. We are at this unbelievable location. On one hand we have a metro station right now, earlier we didn't have, but on one hand we had drive-in road, and on another hand we had SG road, which are one of the best places in Gujarat, I would say. The intersection that at we are is not is something what other schools dream of. So we did not know whether we were good because of that location, because of the cosmic energy that that plot attracts, or because of the actual teaching and learning processes that we have. So as a scientific person, you know, science people like experiments, and they like to prove theories or disprove theories. Unless they do that, they are not convinced themselves. So what we did was we took out the best practices, we implemented in Zaber, and we said that managed by Udgam consultancy. So we have the same best practices, and that became successful. Then we did the same thing with Ananda, Kena Lily, and only last year we entered Divyapath. However, what we have found out is that our best practices are something which is a science, and it is not an art. So that's where we came out with this managed by Udgam consultancy. Sadly, it became too lengthy for people to understand. Managed by Udgam consultancy. Human brain does not comprehend so many syllables, you know. So we reduced it into Udgamverse. So it is inspired by obviously Marvel universe and DC universe, because I'm like a big superhero fan, and I wanted to make it something which is popular, because once the parents make a decision, we cannot have the decision based on a long managed by Udgam consultancy name Udgamverse. Another important aspect was that we do not kill any school's identity. We keep Kena Lily as a separate identity, Zaber is separate, even Divyapath is separate identity, unique school. Because what we believe is that while teaching learning process has to be similar, but each school has to retain its uniqueness. And that's why we keep the school name and we add Udgamverse, which gives them quality assurance, and that's how the whole thing evolved.
How do you envision Udgamverse evolving into a global platform via India Immersion program, and what are the key opportunities and challenges?
So my inspiration comes a lot from Mr. Ratan Tata, and when he took over Tata Sons, he closed down a lot of loss-making businesses, and he added a lot of capacity in which they were already strong. So what he said that day, I remember his words, that the mistake that Tata Group had done for so long was focus too much on India, and they ignored the outside world, and after which they took over steel plant in Europe, Tata Motors took over Jaguar, they took over chemical plant in US, they have taken over software companies, they have taken over so many things. They are a group to reckon with at a international level. So it's like to think big. Sometimes you feel happy that you think like, big people, even though you're not. It's that one sort of validation that you are also big. So I thought that how can Udgam school, which is a small CBSE school, how can it have global influence? Then we thought, then we got one alumni had approached us that my children want to have a CBSE experience. Can you allow them to sit for 2 weeks in the class? And they had amazing experience eventually. They came in uniform. They were so reluctant. Both of his daughters were reluctant, but at the time of leaving, they were reluctant to leave. So they were so happy, and we thought that we should take this experience elsewhere, and let us see how many people join. We have very less expectation, very less expectation. Even if 5 people join, 10 people join, the biggest thing is we have something to offer to the Gujarati diaspora, to the NRIs, and when we do that, inadvertently what we are bringing, when a child of foreign origin, or I would say NRG, not resident Gujarati, sits in a classroom full of Gujaratis. There's a two-way learning experience. Both children benefit. And that is the whole idea of globalization of education. We need heterogeneity in classroom, not homogeneity.
What is the core belief about how education should evolve in today's world?
So there is a funny thing. Education has been evolving like any other industry. Today we see, be it media industry or be it automobile industry, be it any industry, they are rapidly evolving. Unfortunately, education, we are not able to see tangible gains. We cannot see, if you look at the classroom earlier and classroom right now, children will be sitting, teacher will be teaching, things will be same. Today we have a smart board, some schools have AC, some schools have what we say is colorful notice board, and where children's art is done. And there are some things. There is a lot of psychology which has changed in education. So the teaching learning delivery mechanism may be the same, but how teacher talks to student has changed completely and will keep on evolving. So that's what I'm seeing, that superficially it may look same. Children come to school, learn and go back. But how they are feeling 10 years ago, how they are feeling right now and how they will be feeling next 10 years later is going to change dramatically because of what we call is technology, because of instant gratification, because also of the awareness which has come in teachers, in the teaching community, of child psychology, of brain development, and most importantly is how children will be facing the job environment. Because earlier job environment was different. When I was a CA, like when I was studying for a CA, our job used to I remember that we had to make a manual table for counting of depreciation. I had a fight with my boss to make it on Excel. And that job is completely eliminated. Now there is software, we don't even need to punch anything, everything is done automatically. So the change of job, nature of jobs will change schooling. That is what is going to be.
Another thought of him was that students across the globe learning curriculum will be obsolete when they will be approaching for jobs or start working. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so he has no idea of education. So I would not look at his opinion alone. I would want to get a opinion of an educationist and maybe a neurologist and maybe a child psychologist, because curriculum is transfer of knowledge alone. It is also brain development, it is also writing skills, creative language, it is also how students talk to each other and forming opinions, discussions. So we use, for example, 1857 revolt of first revolt against British Empire as a learning opportunity of what went wrong. Now, do you think that learning from our failures or learning from history will ever get outdated? So that's the whole point, that while he's saying that the present form of curriculum and present form of education will change, but it will not change so drastically, say we throw out everything. There are certain things which is very important. So that's the difference between animals and humans. Humans can record things, learn from it. Animals cannot. So the same animals get trapped into the same animal trap, because their father and forefathers have don't go where there is a bait. Don't do that. So that's where if we remove all the information from curriculum, then which of course Google and ChatGPT will give you, but how will your brain develop? So curriculum is just a method of developing brain, so that will stay. But curriculum as an information source for making you more knowledgeable, I think since the invention of Google, it is long been outdated.
I'm pretty sure you have seen the recent interview of Elon Musk, where he quoted that AI will replace human in next 20 years. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I would not say, so human beings are this very evolving people. Like human beings are one of the most evolved species on planet Earth, and wherever there is a need, human beings evolved into fulfilling that need. So yes, earlier we required laborious jobs, human beings evolved as laborers. Earlier we required hunters and gatherers, we were that. We were farmers, we were making construction workers. Even now there are so many humans doing such laborious work. The more automation happened, people evolved into something which they are comfortable with. So I'm sure with AI, human beings will find their own space of going into filling the needs. But as far as teaching is concerned, it is a big question, because in the history of mankind, there has been no replacement to teacher. Now, a lot of things in the history of mankind has been replaced, so teacher may be replaced in the future. But if you say, like I said, it's like just like curriculum. What is the role of teachers? Is the teacher looking at a child as an inanimate object, or are teachers considering children as human beings, and they have their own needs and they have their own I would say mood swings. So when you look at all these aspects, then it is a long time before AI can replace. And I will tell you one important thing: whenever there is a new technological revolution comes, people overestimate that this technology is going to change the world, and the entire generation goes, nothing happens. So maybe not in your lifetime, but maybe for your children, AI may have some impact on education.
What were the main difficulties faced while moving from old school learning to a tech-driven learning?
So, like any other change, human beings resist change. So that's the, if you want to implement technology in any field, there are three aspects which I have faced common everywhere. First of all is the investment. Where do we bring the money? Second is the training. Even if we bring the best of the equipment, software, will people use it? And third, most important, is that will it get outdated? That okay, we invest in this technology, but the moment we get the benefit out of it, it will be outdated and we'll have to reinvest again. And that happens with a lot of first movers, because they buy a technology and that is not the best version. The second version is the best. So they have to throw out everything. So these are the typical things which we have faced in every time, and how we get over it is in an organization in which continuous improvement is the norm. Any such improvement, be it technical or not technical, is accepted fast. So out of the three things, one thing, resistance to change, is helped us implement technologies better than our competitors.
What does sustainable change in education mean to you?
So sustainability is something which Indians are not very good at. India is growing at such a fast pace that they don't want things to be consistent. They want to change. And once it is done, they want to skip to the new fad. So this is more of a fashion statement. Whenever we talk about changes at management level, they want to keep changing. So what we have observed is, over a period of time, that novelty wears off very fast. Innovation stays. So are you changing? So for example, you go home today, you tell your parents, I want to buy a new pair of clothes. You go there, buy a new pair of clothes. Your parents say, why? If you have that kind of relationship where they are allowed to ask you why. If they ask you why, and you say, just because this is out of fashion. So the new purchase is not sustainable. One day that will also go out of fashion. But if you say that because of my existing clothes have worn out, I have outgrown them, or they would say that there is a change of season, that's why we want to buy new clothes. These are fundamentally addressing to a need. Those things change, those changes which address to the fundamental problems stay for long. Those which are superficial change very fast. So those changes. So in India, in Indian education system, in Indian management system, in Indian society, we have seen that change driven by need stays. Change driven by just because of change, they want to change. Bore ho gaye. won't change, won't stay for long.
If you could redesign the Indian education system, what would be the first challenge you make and why?
So yeah, you did not say if you want to redesign for better. So I don't know whatever change I will do will be making it better or worse. So the problem is education is such a wide and very, I would say, complex field that would not, if you change anything, it will have ripple effects across a lot of grades, a lot of outcomes, and most importantly is something which may be realized after a generation. So it's a longitudinal change. So if you ask me simply what I would want to change, what I would want to change is the way colleges assess children for admission. If that is changed, then the entire sector gets changed. And how we go about it is we can multi-parameter admission application evaluation in JEE and NEET and probably in all other colleges, so that there is an all-round personality development of a child, not just on mark sheet. So that is one change I would do, and I would see that ripple effect, because from first standard the parents will have the mindset that I want to make my child a doctor, and only marks will not do. He will need physical fitness also, he will need some talent also. And if the child is groomed accordingly, so by the time maybe he will be good at, by the time he is ready for admission, he will be good at tabla and probably at tennis and probably at biology also. And then he will make a great doctor.
You have seen education over the years. What is one belief about school that you think will completely change in the next decade?
So one important aspect is there is enlightenment of parents. What we have seen, parents have become more aware. Parents have realized that their needs are maybe different than what the schools are promoting. So what I have seen is schools changing themselves already to match the changing need of the parents. So I think in coming years schools will be more adaptable, parents will be more enlightened, and what we say the hygiene factors. What are the hygiene factors? That they finish course in time, they have a building which is safe, they have teachers, they have decorum, there is a discipline in the premises. These are the basic factors. What we see in India is coming over to the next thing. We make children creative, we make children all-round personality. We have more so is promote research-based thinking, all 21st century thinking skills, and this is where education is going towards.
You completed your entire schooling at Udgam and now you lead the same institution. How does that journey feel on a personal level?
Yeah, so initially 3-4 years it was very odd, because most of my teachers were working as teachers and I was supposedly to guide them, and I had no idea of teaching. So afterwards those teachers retired, I got an idea of teaching, and now things are different. But yes, initial 5 years it was very odd. I could not scold them, they used to scold me. So a few years ago they used to scold me. Now I was in a position that I can scold them, but I usually did not find the need to. Most importantly, what happens is that there is this concept of entitlement, because I was my father's son, I was in that position, and that was more bigger problem than me being of the same school. So me being of that same school was, yes, it was a slight problem, but me being in that position because of my father managing the trust which runs the school, so I had to prove myself. So when you go out to you will always be a small child in your parents' eyes. Likewise, I will always be a student in the eyes of the school teachers, my school teachers. But eventually I had to prove myself that I had learned CA, I had seen a lot of things, and I was ready to absorb a lot of new information and do that. So yes, It was challenging. I had to prove myself. But I think that would be, in any case, if I had been professionally appointed in any other institution, that would be something without any emotional baggage. It would have been the thing. Here there was emotional baggage in addition to all the things that are required.
Looking back at your journey, is there a person whose guidance or example has shaped the way you lead and work?
Yeah, so there is no single person, but I would say like 10-15 people who I adored, and they include Mr. Ratan Tata, Bill Gates, and few of our relatives, my father, so many people. I would not give benefit, or I would not say that single person's influence changed my course of life. But yes, one thing was very sure, that because of the positive attitude of my father, I have been reasonably successful, and more so, you have the right role models. So you have to choose who you want to follow, and thankfully they don't turn out to be a big scam. So one of my role models at a very young age was Harshad Mehta, and we have a whole scam series in his name. But yes, he is also called as a visionary now, but at that time he turned out to be a scamster, and I thought I am a scamster also because I liked him. But actually I realized that no, there is a difference between having an ambition and achieving through unscrupulous means. I had an ambition, but the unscrupulous means was not my idea of being successful. Unfortunately, so I am not that successful as Harshad Mehta.
What is the toughest decision you have had to make as an educational leader?
So every day I make tough decisions. Now it's like gym, when you do a 5 kg dumbbell, it's very tough on the first day. On the 100th day, a 10 kg dumbbell is not as tough. So you build mental resilience, you build your capabilities, you build systems and processes, so that decision making is a process and it is not an event. So every single day we make decisions, every single day we make tough decisions, because we don't have the full data and we don't have the full consequences. So what we have realized is that how we contain the damage, that we take less damaging decisions, and most importantly is that those tough decisions initially, the failures that we faced, we made a learning out of it. So tough decisions are those in which you don't have enough information, you don't have the consequences, and you have no idea of what is going on. That's the beginning. That is not the end. The end is, if you make a mess out of it, you succeed out of it, you get the right learning. When you get the right learning, remaining decisions are easier and easier every time. So it's easier to fail when you fail often.
What is the most important leadership lesson you've learned over the years?
So most important leadership lesson that I have learned is from my father, and a lot of from the management books, is to believe in people. So what I have seen is that even if a person is not looking that they have any capability or any hope, but if you believe in them, they believe in themselves and they outperform your expectation. So I think my father believed in me and so many people who are normal people, but they do amazing work when the time comes. So I think leadership lessons, I would say these are the basic leadership lessons. Otherwise I read a lot of books, I saw a lot of things, but eventually what you realize is that you have this confirmation bias. So you go back to what you thought and believe anyways. So you read 10 books, but mostly you will reinforce your beliefs what you already knew. So, but yeah, eventually I think if you ask me, my father is a big, he has this huge successful CA firm, so he had something to teach me, and I learned through observation more than him formally telling me. So that is a difference that I saw, that how he manages people and how people are responding to his decisions. And that was, I had, it's my dream that I at least 50% of what he was, what kind of nature he had, I achieved that in my lifetime.
Sir, I aspire to pursue a career in law. So I'd love to know, how did your law background influence the way you approach challenges and decisions in your career?
So there are two different questions. First is that whether you want to study law and pursue career in law. I did study law. I did study CA, in which there are like 8 to 10 laws, and that is what we call taxation lawyer. As a taxation lawyer, we used to practice. It was our main bread and butter. Whether you want to study law, whether you want to pursue law as a career, are two independent things. What I would suggest is you like logic, reason, and you like information. These are the ingredients of a good lawyer. So if you like all that, you will like law. You will fall in love with law because the things are so logical in law. Everything there is a reason. There has to be a concept where the human civilization works. So this is how we deal with problems, and this is how people will function. Okay, there is a law. So there is a law of gravity and there is a law of contract act. Law of gravity is made by physics, God probably, we don't know. Contract act is made by humans, but can we break either? We cannot break law of contract. It's a very base act. It's a very basic act. I learned contract act, I think it was 1879. It is still in force. This is one simple act. If you like all that, you will make amazing thing in law. But I often refer to contract act everyday dealing, that no consideration, no contract with my person of unsound mind. I don't practice law, but the logic and reason stays with me lifelong.
Do you believe technology is moving at a fast pace for society to keep up, or do you think that we are actually adapting at the right pace?
So there has been phases. I have been, I may look young. I don't look young, but I may look young, but I have been in the field of technology since 95. So Windows 95, when it was launched, I had installed using Windows 3.11, which was before that. So I'm with technology. I was so much interested in technology. When my father had bought a computer, I used to open it and just look at the motherboard. And it was so satisfying, I don't know why. I just used to look and stare at it. I could not understand anything. I was not a person from science background. I did not know how it worked, and there were no lights on it. It was just open it up without power and just look at it, where the wires are going, what are these doing. Kuch mujhe idea. Nobody used to explain to me what is going on. So I've seen a lot of technology changes come and go. Be it multimedia, our biggest, when multimedia came to computer, oh my God, that was the biggest thing that could happen to mankind, where the computer would play music, video, and it would show pictures. Oh my God. And I had read a book, Multimedia for Dummies, and oh my God, that was such a big thing. And I was the expert in my field, in my friend circle, or as far as computer is concerned. So when Windows 98 was launched, people in my computer class, they asked me to make a presentation on it, and what we saw that, so coming back to your question, we have seen a lot of new technology upgrades. Human beings are adaptable, but human civilization is not as fast as adaptable. So when you have a change at your personal level, you adapt to it, but you have a change at your family level or at a friends group level, it takes time to adopt. So typically on a Sunday you will go to a restaurant, and now suddenly there is this health trend where on Sunday you go to play pickleball. That change is tremendous. People are still not able to digest that, because for us, India, social gathering means food. Social gathering does not mean physical activity. That is not acceptable. So, but you are looking at it that there are certain friends group which are evolved into a different way. Likewise, when technology comes, whenever it aspects to multiple people, then it has to implement through organization, private companies, they implement change. But as far as social things are concerned, as far as I would say not for profits are concerned, as far as government organization concerned, it will take a lot of time. and historically it has been proven. So it takes a lot of time, but that doesn't mean that it will not happen. So the classic case was the railway ticketing platform. Right now the railway ticketing platform is online ticketing. It was done, it was government, it was online, it was internet. It took about 3-4 years. We were late by 3-4 years, but when we started it, till now it is working. It is the same company doing since about, I think, 20 years. Once it will happen, it will be history.
Do you think AI could ever fully replace teachers, or will it always serve as a complementary tool in education?
So AI has, ChatGPT is a mode of study where you can ask question and it will guide you to the answer. But I think it is a lot more to do than what it is doing right now to really replace teacher. Yes. So for example, we have this auto correct, or I would say auto assessment. So where that's not AI. It's a very simple thing that you have a form and you write the right, you mention the right answer, and people fill the form and it gives the marks at the end. This did not replace teacher assessment to a great extent, but it did, the menial work was taken by computers, right? So AI will take over the burden of teachers, but it will not replace teachers completely.
You are so active on social media. So how do you see social media, as a threat or medium to connect?
So technology is making everything efficient, and this is just another thing. The only problem in any technology is it has the side effects. So everything that you do has a side effect. I use social media because I can reach to maximum people. Most importantly, I use social media to record what I am saying, because when I look at the history, I've been on Facebook since about 2007, and I look back the memories and I feel I'm so stupid. So that's a good learning. When you have a record of what you did, then you know how not to do that again. And social media provides a lot of learning opportunities. It gives your idea to the world, who are you as a personality, and most importantly, you get feedback. So people say that this is the stupidest thing you have ever done, and you realize that, okay, this is how I need to improve myself. So I get a lot of feedback from social media, wanted, unwanted. I accept what people say which resonates with me, and I reject the rest.
Top management personnel always convert weakness into strength. How have you built your people management as your biggest strength?
So in CA, we are not taught on 2-3 things which is very important in management. One is marketing, another is HR. So HR has always been my weak spot. But as everything goes in mankind, there is a lot of literature, there is a lot of material available. You have to refer to it, and there is a lot of logic. So when I realized all that, I turned my weakness into strength. And maybe I'm not a good HR person because I am an accountant, trained accountant, and accountants value numbers more than people. So we are not trained to be a good HR. But what I could do is that how can we give a better experience to employees so that they can perform at their best. So that we got some idea from the world of HR. But if you want to, so where most people fail at their weaknesses is that they run away from them. But what I realized that if you want to overcome weakness, you have to run towards them. So I read more HR books, I talked to HR professionals, I attended trainings for HR, and within a few matter of years, I became better HR person than my competition, who was supposed to be good at running schools.
So sir, let's move to the fun round of this interaction. You might have heard about rapid fire. We have a similar segment called Quick Bits. In this segment, we will ask you questions and you won't have to think about those long answers. You'll just say the first word that comes into your mind. So let's begin. Your favorite subject in childhood?
Maths.
3 words that describes Mr. Manan Choksi and also starts with M.
3 words which describe me. Okay, I would say moody, money-minded, and ambitious वो M से phonetically M से शुरू होता है.
A secret daily habit that keeps you grounded.
Secret daily habit. So yeah, I think I exercise, and that keeps me grounded because I don't progress in it. So, so yeah, exercise is something which you fit like वो पता चले कि हम weak है. So that keeps me grounded.
One innovation in education you love the most.
I think I love the most is smartboard because that makes classrooms so much more interesting.
Your go-to motivational quote.
So success at times comes after you give up. So that keeps me trying, make me wanting to try again and again.
A book that inspired you the most.
So there is this interesting book, Technology Alone Cannot Change Education. So I used to adore technology, but after reading that book, I realized that technology alone cannot change education. So which is written in 2020 and at a peak when technology was going to change education, but it didn't.
A book you gift mostly.
Psychology of Money. I've given to a lot of people and I love that book.
Your eureka moment.
Yeah, so my eureka moment is when I realized when I passed my CA, not the entire CA, but the foundation CA, the first exam in CA. When I passed, I realized that I could do something in life. So, first I would say taste of success was my eureka moment that I started believing in myself. Rest is history.
What's the best advice you have received from someone?
Yeah, so best advice I have ever received from someone was that I should not compare myself with others, and that has changed a lot in my life because I used to feel very sad because everybody else was successful than me, and once I got that advice I realized that okay, I have not to be benchmarking with them, I have to have my own benchmarks.
Suppose you have a superpower to meet anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
I would love to make Mahatma Gandhi alive again. The reason is that there are a lot of misinterpretation of his teachings, and I really want to see in this change world order what he has to say.
One food item you cannot resist or your go-to food item.
Yeah, I like things sweet, and I like Indian sweets a lot, and yeah, so I have difficult to resist is maybe so, and I like protein, so that sukhdi that we have, it has protein, it has sweet, I cannot resist that.
One rule you never break.
Don't kill people, no matter how angry you are. I never break that rule.
Sir, before we end, I would like to know how did we do?
So you have done a lot of hard work in finding the questions, and you have also been very confident and I would say persistent, or I would say energetic to ask all these questions, and have the best part what I could see is that you were patiently listening to me, and you were not just interested in asking questions but also understanding the answers. So I think you did a fabulous job.
What do you think about this initiative?
I think it's a wonderful initiative, but I think more children should be allowed to ask random questions. So like if 3 or 4 of you have come and not prepare the questions but randomly ask based on my answers, that would help you process information faster and really train your brain to concentrate, analyze and communicate. So these are the skills which schools don't teach so well, and that can make this what we say initiative even more productive.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your journey, values and wisdom with us. Your vision inspires students to not only learn better but live better. On behalf of Divyapath School, we thank you for your time and contribution in our education. It was an honor having you with us, sir.
Thank you for considering me an hero. I used to see this series and I was waiting that one day I will be considered worthy to be part of this series. So I am very happy when I got this message, and it really, I really felt that I have achieved something in life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.